Guys, welcome back to another video. So we had another interesting day in the market. SPY is approaching that 400 mental number, and we're seeing a lot of value and recovery stocks do well, while tech and growth as well as SPACs are all still selling off and having, a tough time bouncing back. QQQ is still in a very choppy channel and it's just bouncing around. So we're waiting for that uptrend to start, waiting for hedge funds to rotate back into these tech stocks. There was a lot of drama with hedge funds getting margin called and just a whole bunch of stuff going on. But I am bullish, closer to tech earnings come mid to end of April, leading into May. I think we'll see things rotate back into tech. So I'm just going to go over some stocks that I see a lot of upside with that I also like for the long term. These can be long-term investments or even multi-week, multi-month swings, just with a lot of upside potential. And come summertime, I think we will be happy that we bought these dips, and I've just been scaling in, buying a little bit every day in these stocks that I like. So if you don't mind dropping a like and hitting subscribe, check out the links in the description, some free stocks on Webull, and let's get into it. All right, so come Wednesday, we should hear more about Biden's infrastructure plan. This is going to be a $3 to $4 trillion plan. Now, I don't believe this is priced in yet because we don't know everything that's going to be in it. We don't know what's going to be said, so definitely going to be watching closely, especially when it comes to EV. EV's been beaten down over, ever since February's sell-off. EV has taken a big hit. Tesla is down on the month about 14.22% right now, or $100. So Tesla has a long way to go for recovery. I really like Tesla at 600 or less to add to my long term. If you're a short, term trader on Tesla, the volatility could be tough to stomach, but I just add this one to the long term, and occasionally I'll play a debit spread on there. But they do also have their delivery numbers being released this Friday. Markets close this Friday, so we don't really know what's going to happen to the Tesla stock, if it's going to react prior to delivery numbers or maybe on Monday. So I'll be watching that one closely, but I do think Tesla is in a really good buy zone for the long term. Next up is NIO, and if the entire EV sector bounces back, I do believe NIO will head higher. However, with the chip shortage and lower delivery forecasts expected, we could see a bit more downside with NIO. So this is one that I would only play shares on, either go long term on it or shares for a longer swing. But yes, they had the chip shortage. They had to shut down production for, I believe, 5 days, and their forecast dropped from around 20 to 20,500 down to 19,500. The CEO did say that they had sufficient chip supply to support production for the time being, but hinted at production getting hit in the second quarter. He says, "We believe for the second quarter we should have the chip supply to meet our basic demand, but the risk is still quite high." So we could see a lot more volatility with NIO, especially when their delivery numbers come out, especially when they don't meet those numbers. And we could see this fall a bit more. But I do like it in the 30 to 35 range. If you're patient, come summer and on, I could easily see NIO back in the 40 to 50 range. I'm not sure when it'll get back above 50, back to all-time highs. Probably need some good news for that. So I would be patient with this one, but I do like NIO where it's at for the longer-term swing or long-term hold. All right, now talking about three pricier growth stocks here. First up is C Limited. I've made a video on them before. They have an all-time high recently, I believe, 280. So they are in a really good buy zone. Every time they seem to touch under $200, they tend to bounce back pretty quickly. So this one has been beaten down as well, down 22% on the month. And, the more beaten down these growth stocks get, the less exposed to risk you are. This is a very solid company, awesome business model, a lot to their business. They've been doing very well. Now, they did have a great 2020, but I believe in the low 200s, especially if you can get this under $200, there's a lot of upside there. Same goes for TDOC. This is one of Kathy Wood's favorite stocks. She's always adding this one. She even bought today. I have an average cost of 174, so I'm actually down on this. If it falls into the 160s, I will continue to add. I'm long term on this though, so I really don't mind what it does in the short term, but I believe this is going to recover. This has an all-time high of 292, and it is down quite a bit on the month as well, so almost 25% off. And last up, another position I am long on is SQ. This is Square. All-time high, again, around 276 or 280. And on the month, it's down 17.85%. Again, don't really mind what this does in the short term, but if you can get this around 200 or less, there's a lot of upside left for this one, especially when growth and tech recovers. Next up is PLTR, and they have the event coming up on 4/14. So I have actually been building out my position a lot more lately in the low 20s. I really think that's a great buy zone for Palantir. Under 23, I believe, is a great deal as well. So this article just goes on to talk about how hedge funds are taking the bullish view on Palantir. They're talking about how it was in 38 hedge funds at the end of the fourth quarter. This is all-time high for the statistic is 31. This means the bullish number of hedge funds positions in the stock currently sits at an all-time high. Scrolling down, it also shows this nice graph seeing the increase in number of hedge funds with Palantir positions. It also goes on to say 72 investment holdings, which reported holdings of 687.7 million worth of stock at the end of December. It was followed by Soros Fund Management, and Blue Ridge Capital allocated the biggest weight to Palantir, around 100% of its 13F portfolio. 72 Investments Holdings is also relatively very bullish on the stock, designating 92.67% of its 13F equity portfolio to Palantir. So, when they first came out, they were getting a lot of price target downgrades, and, with all the news and hype around Palantir, they were getting targeted a lot, but it seems like people are more and more bullish on Palantir. As more news comes out, they're getting more deals, and people are really seeing the upside to this company. So Palantir is on a 50% sale from their all-time highs, and my game plan right now is to just accumulate a ton of shares in the low 20 range, and when we do have that next big spike in Palantir stock price, I'm going to sell some covered calls on some of my shares and collect a nice premium, because when a stock really shoots up nice and gets a lot of hype behind it, the premium for contracts really goes up like crazy. So I'll be able to collect that, and then I want to have enough left over to where if those did get called and I had to sell them, I still have a comfortable position. So that's my game plan right now, and I'm also adding some calls out to 2022 as well. Another stock I have been adding to for the long term is IPOE, which is SoFi. You guys know I'm bullish on them. For some reason, they are heavily shorted, and I'm not sure if that's just a bet against Spacs or a bet against Chamath, but this one has been beaten down with the overall Spac market. They do have a couple virtual events coming up, and the one I'm mainly paying attention to is on April 1st, which is the Facts About Spacs. Just going to pay attention to that. It's at 11:45 Pacific or 2:45 Eastern, and we'll see what they have to say. Their vote date is rumored to be around 4/9 to complete the business combination. We'll see if that's confirmed or what date they are expecting. But I do think this will be great down the road once they get the bank charter, and after the SPAC phase, I think they're going to get a lot more positive attention. So I think they're at a buy zone. I really like this one, and I'm just going to continue to add here and there when the price dips. All right, wrapping things up with the last couple of ideas here, just so this video doesn't take forever. I'm watching Skills. I got in this one for a swing of shares. This is a great company, however, if you are long on them, but they have been heavily beaten down, sitting around 60% off from the all-time highs, so a lot of upside here, much lower risk now where it's sitting. They had a short report come out and a public offering, so really just got beaten down, but sitting at a nice support level. So if the overall market can hold up and start heading higher, I do see this having a lot of upside. Could bleed a bit more if the overall market continues to head lower, but I don't see that much risk with Skills where it's currently sitting. Lemonade, another great growth stock on a huge discount from its recent highs, and I'm long on this one. I like it where it's sitting, 80 to 85 range. Could go lower again, if we see these growth stocks continue to sell off, but I really do like Lemonade. Then my focus has shifted away from SPACs, but I am still watching a few. PSTH, IPOF, and iPod are all very low risk bets right now if you just have some patience. PSTH is probably my favorite one out of those. A lot of people are watching Ackman, and although he isn't announcing in Q1, that was announced today, it's only 2 days away until Q2, so I do believe we will get something soon. He is going to announce a big unicorn, so where it's currently sitting, a lot lower risk, especially with 2/9 warrant attached to each share. It's closer to NAV than people think, so that's one to keep on watch. And that's pretty much it. That's what I'm watching right now. I still love SPACs, but my overall focus has shifted away just because there's so many great deals on established growth stocks already. So that's where I'm at right now, going with the trend, but I'm sure SPACs will bounce back in no time. So that's pretty much it, guys. Please like and subscribe, and have a good one.